Hello to our monthly Rebel Toolbox community call. We have Marcel
Hello.
and I am Daniela. Hello. This week we're going to dive in straight away into the list of outstanding tasks before we can have our Rebel Toolbox or Rebel Engine version 1. So Marcel will take the lead and we will see what is left to do.
So I want to start off with just updating quickly what we've done since last time. Um, on the documentation side of things, we've cleaned up the how to configure an IDE. So for contributors, new contributors who want to contribute to Rebel Engine, they will have a good starting point from which to base that. So that pull request is sitting, waiting for review. Needs to be proofread and make sure there's no spelling or grammar errors and it makes sense and things like that. But in general, we've updated the how to configure an interactive development environment to help new people who want to start contributing to Rebel, regardless of the platform they're on. So the one platform that's outstanding still is the Mac OS platform, because I personally don't have one, so I can't do that. But most importantly, we do have the Windows. So regardless of which IDE you use, you'll be able to start contributing to Rebel Engine as easily as possible. So that I think will help new people wanting to contribute to Rebel Engine from a development aspect. Obviously, the documentation side of things doesn't require development skills. So if they want to update the documentation once they've started trying to use Rebel Engine and things like that, we're still looking for people to work on that side of things. So that'd be helpful. On the actual getting Rebel Engine version 1 done, been working on getting proper semantic versioning on Rebel Engine so that we have the official versioning structure that is understood by pretty much every platform, including GitHub, so that when we release a new version, GitHub understands what the version is and we'll be able to say, okay, yes, this is a release version, and therefore it is the latest version, and therefore when somebody goes to the GitHub website to download it, they will see exactly what the latest version is. If it's a development version, it will be as currently a nightly version, so that as we're progressing and making changes on a daily basis, you'll get a pre-release version, so that we're able to distinguish between those two easily just using the semantic versioning. So it understands exactly what version numbers we're using, because we're using the official standard for how to version software code. Then the outstanding list of issues, one of them is the mirrors list when we're trying to download software through the actual Rebel editor. We were having an issue with identifying the actual source of those downloads. And that had a lot to do with the semantic versioning not being in place. Or more importantly, the versioning that was in place was being blocked from a user agent point of view, so an HTML call request to the Rebel Toolbox website was being blocked by the firewall as a dodgy user agent. Whereas if we use the semantic versioning on the user agent, then we will get, it won't be blocked by the firewall. So that the two issues being resolved at the same time just by using official semantic versioning. Aside from that, there's a Windows compiler issue that I want to address before releasing version 1. It's to do with the new Visual Studio 2026 that's obviously been released now with the new year, and that's picked up another warning with regards to code compilation that I want to address going forward. And then there's the exporting of the Mac OS, which I've identified previously. But otherwise, we're pretty much there. So version 1 is basically a breath away. So hopefully we'll be able to save and celebrate that next time we meet.
Brilliant news. Version 1 in Q1. That's a great start to the year.
The one thing I do want to bring up and discuss here, and if anyone listening wants to contribute, we look forward to their feedback, is the mono. So when we inherited the Rebel Engine source code form, we had a version of C# that you could use as a scripting tool within Rebel Engine. Now that versioning is basically 3 years out of date. It hasn't been supported for over 3 years. Mono itself is no longer supported by Microsoft. There's a whole bunch of deprecations that are going on. And although we can still build the mono version using the old version, I'm reluctant to actually include it as part of version one. I haven't been doing it as part of the nightly builds for that reason. And I basically at the point where to get version one out, want to suggest that we don't include the mono as far as part of the old versioning. So I don't know what you think about that, Daniela.
Personally, I would prefer to have version 1 ready rather than trying to include mono at this point, given where we are. In an
Yeah,
ideal world, somebody will come forward and help us get it over the line and have mono at the same time as version 1. But given where we are, I prefer version 1 because then I believe we can show off Rebel Engine to more people and get them interested. And through that, hopefully get somebody with experience in that area and find somebody who would be willing to help us. And I'll
no, exactly.
have more time.
Because one of the things we've done with Rebel is get all the updates effectively automated as much as possible, and also have alerts for all the third-party libraries when they get updated. So, for example, the libpng library, we got an alert today, and a pull request has been submitted to upgrade libpng to the latest version regarding a security alert that they had on their library. And we basically updating everything so that we've got the latest version of everything. Even the Android has now been updated to use the latest build tool, Gradle version 9, for example. But the mono is still sitting on an old version, and it's the one thing that effectively doesn't align with our principles of keeping everything up to date and with because we don't know what issues are not being addressed in those older versions.
Yes. What do you think out there? If you're listening, write in or join us next time. What do you want to see with Rebel? Um, your direction setting will help us find out what actually is needed and what you require from us. Now is the right time to get involved. It's very early on in the Rebel journey, so you can have more impact on this project than anyone who's going to be joining in a year's time. The reason why that is important, or why right now is a good time to learn new skills such as programming, is if you look at Microsoft, for example, even though they're proud to say a third of the code is written by AI, they now have announced a new head of engineering quality. So, yes, humans and their skills are still valued and wanted in many ways. So, come join us. Either use the skills you have or come and join us to learn new skills using Rebel Toolbox.
No, exactly. I mean, one of the things we're not doing is using AI to start coding Rebel Engine. There's enough technical debt in Rebel Engine already that we're addressing one step at a time. And it takes a lot of effort and work to clean out the, the spaghetti code that exists at the moment and make it more reasonable. Yet the vibe coding that's going on, when you look at some of the code that gets generated, especially within Meta, they've also got a new way of measuring the performance of coders, is how many lines of code they generate. So you can basically go to your favorite AI code generating tool and just say, can you make this function longer and use more lines and more code, just to just to hit performance targets. I think it's very important that we have a tool that not only is reliable and easily maintained, but also a tool that allows people to contribute and learn how coding works going forward.
Yes, because simple code is easier to maintain in the long run, easier to get your head around. And 20 years ago, when I was programming, the aim was always for elegant, minimalistic code that does exactly what you want it to do, no more, no less.
Yeah, I've got no problem with people using AI to assess code, try and understand what it's doing and things like that. and even to outline the code that you want to start with. But you need to understand the code that is being actually submitted going forward. It needs to be something that other humans can understand as well, more importantly, so that when it comes around to basically fixing bugs or just mending or adding enhancements and things like that, anybody, including yourself, understands what the code is doing so that you can do that code maintenance.
Exactly, exactly. So, if you want to join us to learn how to program yourself or to look at a project with good programming standards, you're more than welcome. If you want to help us use some of the AI that is out there that actually provides benefit, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
Yeah. And one of the advantages of releasing version 1 is that there will be two ways to contribute. One is to be adding all the new features and enhancements to version 2, basically, that we're working on. But also, if you want to understand existing code and fix and address the technical debt that exists in existing code, you can focus on that. So we'll have the two areas that people can contribute to going forward.
Yes. Is that everything for today? It seems a short meeting for today.
Yeah, no, it's really a case of making sure that we understand where we're at and when we release version 1, what the status of the mono aspect will be. I mean, not saying that we won't add mono later on, but it will be basically a feature addition, because we will be looking at using the latest version .NET, because mono is now no longer supported. It will need to be what Microsoft now uses going forward. So the .NET SDK will need to be replaced.
Yes.
And honestly, I haven't had a look at it, so I don't know how much work that will be, but I expect it will be significant, because it's several years of updates that haven't been addressed.
Again, if you want to join us on the journey, you're more than welcome.
Exactly.
We are trying to create a community and a group of people who get on, who support each other, who support each other in terms of the skills, but also in terms of people. We do not allow toxic behavior at Rebel Toolbox. And that's what we're after, basically.
Yeah. No, we want people of all backgrounds to come and feel like they can contribute and work with us and work together with others.
Yes. Um, yes. On a personal note, um, I have lost somebody to mental health issues. More precisely, they have succumbed to suicide in the end. If you suffer from similar issues, or if there are reasons for your happiest personality not being able to express itself fully, you're more than welcome as well to join us. We're not healthcare professionals, but we do know that life is hard at times, and that's just at the outset, even for the healthiest of us. We do not judge. We literally do not care who you are or how your mind works. All we care about is that people treat each other nicely and, as I mentioned before, support each other and are there for each other. If you have issues yourself, even if you don't know us, feel free to contact me. As I said, no judgment. Good. And with that, bye bye.
Hi, thank you.